Hello and welcome. This is Nicholas here, July 2nd. Oh. What is today? Today is July 16, 2014, and it's a Wednesday. Wednesday is always the day of Mercury. Mercury is the god of communication. It's the trickster. It's the messenger. So remember that in your dealings today. If you see that Mercury archetype, just take note of it and appreciate it. Embody it a little bit yourself. The days of the weeks always align with the planet, and it's always good to think about the planet you're in and really align with that energy. It's a good practice every week to align individually with each planet, so you can always carry all of those planets' energies and then bring it to your Sunday and shine the brightest that you possibly can shine. Building off yesterday, we had a big transit when you had the moon conjunct Neptune. So basically, it's that ethereal, spiritual, meditative, deep, emotional side of stuff. It's definitely deeper and spiritual, and it's not logical. You can't grasp it. You just have to accept it and let it channel through you and see what visions you get and see what insights come to you. And as it did that, it went through and it went in conjunct Chiron for today. So here in the West Coast, it's already at 22. The moon will already be at 22 degrees here at 8 o'clock in the morning. So we're probably not going to experience this moon conjunct Chiron. But in the East Coast, they certainly are probably up during that. But all that is the moon then went from this intuitive flash, not flash, but insight, this meditative state, to then meeting with the wounded healer right after that. And so what a perfect timing for that to have happened, because right now Saturn is making this really tight trine to Chiron. So Saturn is our authority figures. And Saturn is in that Scorpio, that really dark death, sex, rebirth, and regeneration, that occult, the mystics, the hermit that can go down and do these magical things and heal people and bring all this information to the others from the netherworld. That's where Saturn is. It's not a very pleasant place for Saturn to be. And while it's there, how can we align with that energy? Well, we can document. We can practice these intuitive things. We can do astrology. We can do tarot. We can do divinations of all sorts, I Ching, Reiki healing, and intuitive reasoning, intuitive insights of any sort, and document it. Do something logical for Saturn. Make friends with him. Help him understand this from his perspective, and it'll do wonders for your life. So that's what Saturn and Scorpio is all about right now. It's been there for many years. It's going to continue to be there for a while. Well, I don't know about many years, but it's been there for a while. It'll be there for a while longer. But it's making that trine to Chiron. Your authority figure is making a trine to Chiron, your wounded healer. So the world right now, what we're experiencing is, what are archetypes? How can we relate to them? How are we going to feel them? How are we going to heal them? And how can we bring that message to other people and help heal our wounded idea of the authority figure, of the father figure? So that's great. And having the moon come through and just continually hit Neptune, and then go in and hit Chiron and just add that intuitive emotional side, we're really going to understand what the authority figures are trying to say and do in terms of having us align and heal with them. But it's also paradoxical in the forecast today, because Saturn is in conjunct with Uranus. So although we can kind of understand the authority figures and we can have compassion for them, and we're going to be having this healing experience around those areas in our lives, having an in conjunct to Uranus means that the revolutionaries, the outside thinkers, those flash instincts are not going to be accepted right now. The authority figures are going to try to crush those down, and then at the same time, the intuitive people are not going to be listening or paying attention or heeding the call of the authority figures. There's kind of that in conjunct, that in connection between those two right now, even though in connection is not a word, but you know my point. The astrology is there, it's in the chart, and it's really powerful. So just there's just a lot of energy today around the authority figure, which is just perfect timing to come into the authority of the king. So Jupiter now is moving into Leo, and everybody's excited about that. And I kind of hate jumping on the bandwagon of excitement, because what'll happen in astrology readings is people will say everybody's excited about the Leo, um, you know, Jupiter moving into Leo, and nobody will really get down deep and explain why or help you understand it for yourself. And I think for this to be practical and useful to you, you need to understand what this would mean for yourself and how you can understand it better. So the best way I can explain this to you is when Jupiter goes into Leo, basically it's spent one whole year in Cancer. Jupiter takes about 12 years to go through the zodiac, about 1 year through each sign. So we've just spent a year in the Cancer sign, which is sort of like a fourth house sign. Fourth house sign is about home, it's about foundation, it's about stability, it's about comfort. And so you're building this foundation, you're building this stability, you're building this comfort, and now all of a sudden, Jupiter, the planet of expansion, Jupiter, the planet of good fortune, Jupiter, the planet the old timers called the planet of luck, comes into Leo. So building off that fourth house, we're moving into the fifth house type area of Leo, which is fun, excitement, sex, creativity, enjoyment, pleasure, those types of energies. So as long as we have a great foundation, we can readily embrace this and it's personal creativity. It's not a creativity that you need to go out into the world with. It's kind of like you're just exciting and having fun. It's about your own personal experience of the fun right now in the fifth house. So the best way that you can understand this and not just jump on the bandwagon and say, oh, Jupiter's in the fifth house or in Leo and everything's going to be happy and exciting, is go back and look at your journal from 12 years ago. Look at your life at 12 years ago. Look at the pictures of you at 12 years ago. And think about where in your life things were expanding. Think about how you were having fun. Think about just all those Leo archetypes that were present. And this time around, think how you can make them better. Think how you can hone, ride that wave, even longer, and make it more enjoyable and maybe even less harmful to you. If you don't have to drink 3 beers to have a good time, maybe you don't even need a beer. Maybe you exercise and go to the party fully conscious. I don't know, but just remember that this is a time about having fun. And so I definitely think the theme for this horoscope and for today is documenting, having fun, and letting Saturn do his thing and document and learn from these intuitive sides, learn from these fun sides. He's connecting to Chiron. He's connecting to the moon as the moon goes and connects with Chiron. It's just very, very important in these times to embrace that side of the archetypes as well. The only last thing I want to say is that yesterday the North Node was conjunct Mars. When that happens, your ego wants to do what's right for your soul evolution. So I hope you stepped through that door yesterday, and I hope you found some little something. If you read 5 pages of your favorite book, if you sat down and worked on your scrapbook, if you went out in your garden and did something and planted something beautiful. Whatever it was that was important to you that really relates to your North Node is going to help you through. If you actually made that contact and actually followed up and called that person to actually go to that concert next week, that's what that North Node is about, those relationships, those karmic situations that you need to follow through. So now that the North Node and Mars are separating from each other, just think about what energy you put into there and what you gave the universe to offer you as you reap what you sow. So I really hope that now as the sun is squaring the North Node, you can continue to shine with this North Node energy, which is all about soul evolution. I know that when the sun is squaring the North Node, it's also making a square. It's like a T-square to the South Node. But the most important thing you need to think about in that situation is the fact that the sun is how you want to shine. The North Node is where you want to go. The South Node is what's pulling you into the past, what's not serving your highest purpose. You'll know intuitively the things like, do I really need to watch that TV show, or should I really go and try to do this new exercise routine? That's the North Node is probably, calling you to that exercise routine, not the old habits that you're used to. Do I need to sit down and approach my songwriting, if you're a creative person, the same way today? Or do I need to go out and just go on the street and perform and just do something spontaneous with my music to help lighten me up? A North Node would tell you to go out in the street and perform, do something you're not accustomed to, not used to, and to lighten up and to evolve, push your soul forward. So that's your horoscope for today. I need to pull a card. I try to do these talks extemporaneously, so it's not really prepared. It's just coming from the heart and being very synchronistic. So let's see what our card for today is. Our card for today is Rebirth. Wow, how appropriate. Right as the Jupiter's going into Leo, we get a card with a lion. And see, this card is the Osho deck. And so the lesson of the 10 of air, air is the intellect and how you think. So you're going to have an intellectual rebirth. You're going to have a feeling of rebirth. You're going to have a concept of the new you through this transition into Leo. Basically what happens is we start out, we're like the camel. We just listen to everybody, we take the orders, and everybody rides on our back and we carry the weight. Then what happens is we start to feel our true self and really reach our own identity. We turn into the lion and we roar. And this is the period right now where we're going to roar and we just come out and show the world who we are. And it's a very positive transformation, but we're not quite there yet. You got to remember, after you roar and you've made yourself known and you've demanded your demands and you've shown the world exactly what you are, then you can let go of that ego pride of the lion and just transform into that childlike entity, that spirit that's just like, I know who I am, I'm going to be gentle, and I don't need to force it on anybody anymore. So this is just the evolutionary step we're going through this Leo cycle. We're no longer the mother bear having to bear the weight. We're coming into our roar, and it's going to lead us into just being innocent, just being in the moment, just being able to play a beautiful melody on the flute and be ourselves in a humble, simple way, without having to roar or gain the attention, because we're so centered inside. We bring melody to everything we do. So, well, that was your horoscope for today. I hope it was helpful. My name's Nicholas. If you'd like a reading from me, you can just follow the website below. If you have any questions on the astrology I brought up, you can dig deeper on the blog. My website is www.nicholasdewart.com. And any comments or questions are welcome. So, thanks.